Today we're going to start off by learning a few tips and tricks to create a realistic, one-point perspective bedroom. Alright, well first we're going to start off with drawing a vanishing point and all of our converging lines. These are going to be our walls, our ceiling, and our floor. We'll just add a back wall by creating a rectangle with a horizontal line, vertical line, another horizontal here, bring it around, and you'll see that it magically lines up. We'll get a vertical line, and that's our back wall. Next, you'll see me dividing the baseboard, or where the floor meets the wall. We're going to divide it up into even spaces after I'm done erasing. You see how I split it in half and in half again? Those new points, which aren't very visible, but you'll see in a second, are going to connect with the vanishing point. Those are going to be our converging lines that'll give us the illusion of depth by creating some floorboards. So you're going to see the next step, we're going to build a door. So if you'll pay attention, let's think about this room for a second. It has some walls, but they also have a thickness. We're going to start off with vertical lines, connect the top, as well as the bottom to the vanishing point. It's already there. But then we're going to add depth by using horizontal lines to indicate that there's a cutaway into the wall. So using the horizontal, vertical, and converging lines, we can achieve that. Similarly, the window is just the same thing. Top and bottom are going to go to the vanishing point, but we're not going to go all the way down to the floor. Using our vertical, horizontal lines here, and then a converging line that connects at that new point, well, is on the bottom here, is going to create the illusion of thickness in the walls. Well, you see me here thinking about planning where's the bed going to go. I'm using a horizontal line to start off on that back wall. Think about if you pushed your bed up against a wall, what shape would it make? It would be a rectangle. The other rectangle is up against the wall on the side of the door. We're going to use that to extend out using a vertical first to close off that rectangle. Then we're going to use the line that's already established going to the vanishing point and a horizontal line to indicate where it's going to touch the floor. The top boundary of the bed is similar, but using a converging line from the vanishing point, we can see now the edge is located. And then we'll extend a vertical line down, and that is a box that's essentially going to be our bed. Now let's look to some new details. First, we're going to do some erasing. That erasing is going to allow us to think about that bed as a solid object. We clearly can't see through something that's solid, so we'll erase that to indicate how that object is opaque. Doesn't mean those lines aren't important. We'll use those a little bit later. But we're going to start off by creating a headboard. Now this is basically a flat box-like object that's going to start off by using the end of the bed's two vertical lines, tied off with a horizontal at the top, and then we'll go right to the vanishing point again. You might notice a theme here. If it's not vertical, if it's not horizontal, it's probably going to go to the vanishing point. As a matter of fact, you're going to see that there's not much else we need to think about. If we add any more details here, it's basically just having fun. So I'm going to start off by creating a shelving unit. Start off with a box, vertical lines. I'm checking to see where it hits the wall, and using the vanishing point to create almost like a footprint of that thing on the wall. Now I'm going to extend it out with horizontal lines by creating that front face of that box. So you'll see that horizontal and vertical line. Another horizontal makes the front face. Now I'm going to connect that new dot that I created, or new corner, to the vanishing point. Notice how I'm not drawing the lines all the way there. As you get the hang of this, you'll get a better sense of where those lines are going to be, but there's always a little bit of overhang. I like to just draw a little overhang and then trim it up with the eraser at the end, and it's a lot easier. Not as much erasing to do. Now the shelves are horizontal. Those are horizontal lines there. You can see them from both sides. And I connect both of those points and extend them through the shelving unit. Pretty simple. If you're using that horizontal line and converging, you're going to get success. Remember, keep it simple. There's only three choices of lines. They should either be vertical, horizontal, or converging, meaning going to the vanishing point. Now remember again, when we have an opaque object, we can't see through it. So I'm going to use that to my advantage to create the illusion of depth. Here we are, we're cleaned up those things, and we're looking for new opportunities to embellish this room. Now what I'm doing here is planning out a window. But I need to take the height measurement, transfer that to that corner. Do you see over there? The height is drawn all the way across there, And using another converging line, I can see the bottom boundary of that window. If we want those lined up in space, this is a really great strategy. Extend those measurements around the room. Using vertical lines, I can mark off the boundary of where the window is going to be. Now I just need to connect to the vanishing point to create that depth of the wall when we cut that window away. Now this is a little bit tricky because it's going away from us. There's a thickness of the wall that we need to show, but we don't want to get carried away. Otherwise that one wall is going to look really thick. I think mine, if I did do it again, probably wouldn't make it as thick, but you kind of get the idea. All right, lastly, we're going to add some more embellishments, but first, let's think about what's outside of that window. Now, the vanishing point is always on the horizon, so that might be a nice addition. If we're looking out, maybe, across the water, say this is a beachfront home here, that horizon line is going to be very clear. So in order to show that to our viewer, I'm going to add a little bit of, let's see, some clouds there. You could add like a sunset, like the sun going behind that horizon line, but notice I'm changing up the size of those clouds. The ones that are closer are bigger. The ones that are like farther away, I like to make them really small. Kind of have a flat bottom too. We'll get on that another day, but lastly, I kind of want to spice up this bed. Now you can keep it as is, or you can kind of hint at the next complexity level is adding these legs. And like I said, I usually kind of improv this stuff, but I just extended that leg down. A leg is just a skinnier, taller like box. We've already done that type of stuff, but we're just figuring out where it touches the ground by creating that box with vertical lines, horizontal, and then converging. And just kind of thinking about not only the front legs, but can we see those back legs? Doesn't really look like it. It's kind of outside of the depth of this video, but let's just talk more about, see how extended those floorboards to make it look like, there's some negative space underneath that bed. To finish it up, check it out, added like a bed sheet and a pillow. Pillows are always tough for any soft object in perspective. I use those converging lines just to make sure that nothing was messed up, but I just kind of use a round shape, use some converging lines to make that look like there's some depth to it. All right, well, there you have it. That drawing's ready to hang up, or if you want, you can go at it with some colored pencils or markers to make it look nice. Thanks for joining along, and hope you had some success with this new one-point perspective bedroom.